Lovely, lovely bacon dust in there. And then I think it's time to start cooking off our little breast. I've already got my legs in the oven ready to go. Again, those are going to take a couple of hours to do, so I thought I'd just get ahead on that and get that one ready to go.
It's amazing, isn't it? Such a small piece of meat takes 2 hours to cook.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, you don't want to cook it quickly. If you start boiling away meat like that, especially leg meat on any fowl, really it will just start to toughen up, and it will never ever give you back any flavour. You know, you'll be chewing it, it'll be dry, it'll be horrible. So the slower and the lower you cook, I mean, slow and low is a phrase that chefs love to say. Slow and low. If you can cook that at 50 degrees and give it 3 hours, your meat will be even better. Okay. But yeah, if you're just going to cook at home and you don't have a water bath, again, just pop your sugar thermometer in there, just let it bubble away at 60-70 degrees for a couple of hours, and then straight into the fridge, and you'll have something that melts away from the bone rather than you having to sort of prise it away from the bone as well. So all I'm going to do to reheat those lovely little thighs, is I've just drizzled them with a little bit of oil, pop them onto a tray and just slid them into an oven. Now my oven's about 200 degrees, it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes to get those nice and hot. They're cooked, so all I'm really aiming to do is just get the heat back through them and hopefully crisp up the skin just a little bit. So whilst that's in there, I'm going to start cooking off on my little breast here. Now, what a selection of oils we have here. Right, what should we go with? Bit of a smoky one, oak smoked rapeseed oil, fantastic. That's going to go really quite nicely. So again, consider the flavours that you want to add to your dishes. You don't want something that dominates or takes away. So again, I've got a nice little preheated saucepan there, a good bit of ambient heat in there, just a little drizzle of oil in there.
And these guys from the rapeseed oil, they're just down the road from yourselves, aren't
Absolutely, yeah. These guys are just based on our doorstep, and I found out to my shame, I thought they only made oil. They don't. They make loads and loads of other things as well. So if you want a nice log burner, pop in and see these guys, and they'll do a good log burner as well. So I've got a nice hot pan there. I can tell my pan's nice and hot. Good billowing of smoke coming out of there. Little pinch of salt, just on the flesh side and on the skin side. Salt's quite an important ingredient. It just helps to draw the moisture away. So if you do want nice crispy skin on there, that's what the salt is going to really help, as well as just amplify the flavour a little bit. We get those straight in there. And again, the bonus of this is it will only take 2 to 3 minutes to actually cook. They're so small, little morsels of meat, that there's no time really needed in there. Just grab a spoon.
So Andy, at Bowcliffe Hall,
yes.
How many chefs have you got? Is it a restaurant? Can anybody go? Do you have to be a member? What's the crack?
You have to be a member, unfortunately, like I say. There are a couple of chefs working on site, and again, we're just kind of working our way and creating the most memorable events that we can. But then there are 29 serviced offices on site, so if you're looking for an office space, again, come and give us a call. We can sort you out with an amazing office space. I'm just turning those over now as well, because the lovely golden colour that we're getting on that skin there is telling me that they're ready to go over. So yeah, we've got 29 serviced offices on site. The main part of kind of like the drivers club is to kind of service those offices, provide them breakfast and some lunch, and if they're super lucky, we'll also cook them some dinner as well. So as a chef, we basically work 9 to 5, and I tell you what, as a chef, it doesn't get much better than that.
Sounds heavenly.
Absolutely. So
sounds unusual.
It's very, very unusual. So again, we get to play with really lovely food in really lovely surroundings, and again, we're not working all the hours under the sun, so it is almost kind of like the unicorn of jobs in the chefing world. Now I've just added some butter into the pan, and also a little bit of lemon thyme as well. Now one of the other things that we have at Bowcliffe Hall, beautifully pictured just there, is we've got our own organic kitchen gardens. I've got an amazing team of gardeners that basically I give them a list of things that I'd like them to grow, and they basically bring it to my back door and go, here you go, make something out of that. So I've got herb gardens galore. I've got loads of really, really interesting things. I've got like cherry tomato plants that are sort of a good 6-7 foot tall, sitting in the potting shed as well. So yeah, we're blessed as chefs. You know, we don't have it much better than this. So 2 minutes in the pan, both sides, a little bit of thyme in there, a little bit of butter as well, just to help baste the flavour into the actual into the meat, and then we're just going to pull that out and just let that sit and let it rest in there. Really doesn't need any time at all. So I mean, technically that is what you call fast food. So to complement the breast, just whilst we're allowing those to rest down, I've made myself a really nice damson gin sauce. Again, being in Yorkshire,
that sounds like good fun. Damson gin sauce.
This is very boozy stuff.
Wow.
Have a quick taste of that and tell me what you think.
This is the first thing he's given me to taste.
Very boozy, very, very boozy.
What does that say about me? What? Wow, that is gorgeous.
Got some flavour in that, hasn't it?
Absolute cracking flavour.
So what we've done to make that sauce is we've taken the carcasses from the bird, and we've just cooked those off, created a really nice stock, and then basically just simmered and reduced that right down. Put that off to one side and taken a good wedge of slow motion slow gin, reduced that down to a syrup, and then basically fed the stock back into it, continuing to reduce it. We want to keep this kind of really nice, thick, syrupy consistency in there. We don't want to add too much of that to the plate, or otherwise it will just suddenly dominate. It will coat your palate, coat your tongue, and you'll taste nothing else. So just little splashes of that to really help.
It's really
help along.
jammy and plummy, and
it is, isn't it?
lovely.
It's all the best parts of the slows. So we're just kind of going to come to the assembly part now. So I've got my sweet corn puree that's just been sitting.
1 second, Andy. Can we just move you?
We can certainly move me wherever.
Let's just see how we go. Can we see? How are we doing? Can we see that? Yeah, we're good. Right, lovely.
Lovely then. So yeah, the fun bit really is the plating up, and there's kind of the realisation of all the work. But the other thing that you can do is you can get all of this pre-prepared and just leave it in the fridge. I mean, I've basically pulled all of this together in about 5 minutes whilst I'm talking to you guys as well. So again, it's a really kind of a nice wowie dish, but you don't need to work too hard. So we're just going to get that sweet corn puree just on the base there, just pull that around, chefy swoosh and all that jazz. Little pull of that there. Go into the oven, and we'll just start to pull out our lovely little legs here as well. So these lovely little legs have just been sitting there going nice and crispy as well. We'll just pop that on the corner of the plate. I've got two, why not? We're in Yorkshire, look after everybody. Going back to our lovely little pan-fried breast there, just a couple of minutes sitting there resting. We'll just carve that through on an angle. Beautiful and pink in the middle there, as it should be as well. There's virtually no fat in these things, so if you cook them through, they'll just be really dry and horrible. So the skill is to kind of keep them pink, but don't keep them raw, but don't overcook them as well. So we'll just sit that on the plate.
Is it important to let that rest?
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, the 2 minutes of letting it rest there, it could have probably done with another 2 minutes as well. My kind of golden rule on cooking is always rest it for 50% of the cooking time. So even if you're cooking a joint of beef for 2.5 hours, allow that thing to rest at least for an hour in a warm spot under some tinfoil, and it will make your food just taste absolutely amazing. So we're also going to drop some little bits of popcorn around on there as well, a little bit of fun. We've got some of the bacon dust, we'll just sprinkle that over the top, making it look really lovely. And another little thing that I did as well, I got a full corn on the cob, and a very chefy thing to do at the moment is just run a blowtorch over it. So I just poach those off till they're nice and soft, blowtorch the top so it gets a little bit more of a kind of like a smoky, charred texture going on with the actual corn there. We'll just pop that onto the plate, get that out of the way. And we come back to our lovely syrupy sauce as well. So again, when you make a sauce that's this thick and this syrupy, less is more. That's the phrase that pays. So we'll just put little splashes of that dotted around the plate. And again, I mentioned we have these amazing organic gardens here. So my gardeners have been busy really working hard at the moment. And they've been growing me these lovely little like micro radish shoots. Really nice kind of peppery flavour. Chefs are kind of quite guilty of just throwing lots of little bits at the plate just to kind of make it look pretty. That's a no-go in my kitchen. What we like to do is we like to add flavours that are going to complement the dish as well. So we've got a bit of peppery radish sort of just going on the edge of the plate. Don't worry about grabbing your tweezers out or anything like that. I think the way it naturally falls on the plate is the way that it should look as well. We've also got these like nice little beetroot shoots as well. Really interesting little flavours, bright colours on there as well, and a good like nice earthy flavour. So we'll just sprinkle a couple of those on. And then this one for me is really quite interesting. These are like little Russian red kale sprouts. Really pretty looking leaves, and again, but very fresh, but almost slightly citrusy within their flavour profile. So again, that's going to help just to add some extra little bit of dimension of flavour in there. And again, a little bit of nasturtium in there, just because it's chefy and it looks good on the plate. But that colour contrast as well between like the greens, the yellows, and especially the pink on the meat as well. Now that for me is a perfect little starter. It's a game dish. It's something that we created bespoke for a wedding as well. So we had 80 people sitting down to enjoy that as their starter, and I'll come back next year and show you what the main course was. That was quite interesting.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Lawson from Bowcliffe Hall. Fantastic cookery demo. Come on up, have a look, have a taste, and have a chat to Andy. Thank you very much. Our next chef demonstration